Hello, this is the Aftermarket Report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date, February the 28th, 2019. And what a day today. When the market is red, we are always green. Vegas, I'm going to hand it
Yes,
right over to
and
you.
well, it is January 28th, not February.
Oh, did I say February?
Jim's already in February,
Oh,
guys.
man.
Yeah. But let me tell you, there's a lot of snow here in the city. So hopefully, if those of you are out there shoveling, be careful. Don't injure yourself. Okay, so it was a very busy day, and I just want to tell you the stocks we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about CRON. We're going to talk about ACB, two big Canadian pot plays. We're going to talk about REFR, REFR, TEUM, and an OTC pick favorite of mine called SHMP. And we're going to start off and talk about CRON. Now, those of you that listen to our YouTube and follow and subscribe, you know Jim's so bullish on this stock for weeks. So I'm going to let Jim talk about the chart right away because I don't need to go into repeating myself over and over about CRON. Right
Tell,
over to you, Jim, and then I'm
tell,
going to talk about the options.
oh, yeah. You want me to talk about the chart first?
Yeah, talk
Okay.
about the chart first, and then I'll explain how I picked the options here.
Well, again, this is one that I called down there at 10:15, and I said this is very bullish, and I'll post this 1 month daily chart. Called it right down here 20 days ago, and look how that thing's run up. And I said this probably get to at least $20. Today we had a beautiful breakout on CRON, and I'm going to post 3 month chart daily. And called it down here at first at 650, and then we had a little, drama last year, and it pulled on up. And here we are with a high today. It closed at 1848. I'm going to pull up the daily, and I tell you exactly how to play this every time, every day. I said, get in here, play the pullback on it, first thing if you can. And Vegas noticed right out of the gate that this really had some momentum today. And we had a little channel here that we followed up, a little wedge that we followed all the way up, and then it broke out of that wedge. And I was calling in this room every time it touched down, hit that wedge line, that was a pretty good little bounce up play to play that. And we hit that thing 4 times, and you had 4 good bounces just off the wedge alone, not counting this bottom breakout. You could have held it all the way up to $18. Vegas called 18 in the room when it was down here first thing this morning right around 1635. And so once it hit that 1822, it pulled back to that wedge again, to that bottom trend line, and bounced up a little bit to my 1809. And, I don't just draw these patterns after hours. I'm doing it as the day goes through. And I have many people that can witness this. So then we broke out of that wedge, and we hit that 1771 area and bounced up a little bit. Then we had another pullback and went down below that 50 and that 100. And then we started up again. I mean, this thing had volume all day long. We pulled back, and we had that golden cross here over the 100. And it bounced up again, hit that resistance of 1848. Well, we followed that resistance line all the way the rest of the day, creating a little sending triangle right here for the next breakout. See that sending triangle? I'd more or less call this a pennant breakout. And it just kind of tightened up right here. And then after hours, Vegas, 1875 high. Just after
Wow,
hours.
this is just flying,
So
flying.
the way I look at this trade is you can play the pullbacks. Don't rush yourself into it. And you can play the options on it if you can get in and predict. Like today would have been a wonderful day to do that. Even when I called it back there at $10, I wish I had the foresight back then to say option trade, run it up to 20. But I'm going to let Vegas. I'm going to hand this over to Vegas now. But if you're not in the trade, wait for the pullback on it. And once it starts to consolidate, it hits any of these moving averages, this 50, this 100, or the 200, and it bounced off the 200 a couple times today here at the end of the day. And it got a little tight squeeze right here, and then that 50 broke out, created this little breakout to 1875. So in the morning, play the pullback. If you can get down here to around $18, that's where I'm going to call support at, right here at the $18 level. Be 18 or 18.25, one of them two. Go ahead, Vegas.
Okay, so I want to say that thanks to Jim with his, phenomenal chart skills. I mean, talk about someone that knows how to read a chart. This guy's the one. And I have to say, because he's just so bullish on CRON for the longest time, today was the first time when I was watching CRON this morning and I said, wow, I noticed when it got to $16.11, I said, look, guys, go long on the stock if you like the setup, but this is going to $18 today. I said that was kind of where I could see it going, and you know what? Bingo, because that did break 18 and new highs. So at the same time, though, not everyone can handle paying $16 a stock. It's a lot of money, and it's hard to make a lot of money on a stock like that if you don't actually buy, a decent size. I mean, I would say like at least even 50 shares or 100 shares would be good for a day trade. But in this case, I'm always thinking about the people with smaller accounts. So I looked at the options and I shared an options trade for the $16.50 strike, which expires on February 1st, and shared that at 69 cents, which was a $69 investment for one contract. And let me tell you, that went all the way to like $2.28. So the people that bought it were screaming, like they were just so excited that they put in $69. Some people paid $72 because they waited and they wanted to, it finally went up a little. But they were so happy that they made 100% or more on their option call. So at the same time, we called options on the $17 calls and also the $18. And all those three that we called are all expiring on Friday, but everybody that bought them's in the money. So thanks a lot to Jim on his charts and give us additional confidence. But you could see also on the charts, on the options flow, the volume, the open interest was extremely high. And obviously, when that happens, it's really exciting because everybody's wanting it and everyone's making money on it. I'm sure lots of people did well with the option calls. So congratulations. And I'm just really happy for the people with small accounts because they really doubled their money and tripled in some cases. So congratulations.
All right.
Okay. So, Jim, can you talk about the other stock called ACB?
Yep.
And that's another marijuana one. That's, Aurora cannabis stock. And that's another one, Canadian company. And I just want you to, talk about the chart there. And, it looked bullish to us, liked it around $6.90. I was looking for around at least $7 and very happy to see that it broke 7. And where do you see this going on? ACB.
Well, this has kind of been a slow mover at the very beginning when all them other stocks ran. And I'm going to pull up the yearly daily and show you we did have a nice little breakout on this ACB up here to 1253 about 4 months ago. The Farm Bill came out. When that Farm Bill came out, the thing just started running up. We had a yearly bottom here at $4. And then after it hit that high, it kind of pulled back. And, the market was in pretty rough shape at the end of the year last year. And we kind of pulled back. And I'm telling the room, I said, well, it's probably about time when my crystal ball came out to start looking at this one. And by that time, it was back down here at this low support right around 450, 460. And then here lately, we've noticed some pretty good action on this thing. I'm going to bring up the 20-day. We had a wedge that had breakout on it a couple weeks ago. And then it pulled back and kind of consolidated here at a low support right around, let me get this tool ready. Had a low support right around here. I'd say right around 615. Well, it touched that 200 SMA, and that 50 started curling up. Today we had a golden cross on that 50-day that broke out over the 100. And then we had that good breakout today. So it's actually ran pretty good from that 1615 level up to 704. And we want to try to break this resistance level up here right around 746. That's where my next target of resistance will be. Right around 746. So I'm going to pull up the daily and just show you what kind of run it had today. And like any of these other pot stocks, and I'm going to tell you right now, it seems like they like to pull back right at the first of the day. first of the moment. And this sucker took off from that 656 area and run all the way to 693. And then we had this flag right here, kind of that pennant flag, kind of consolidated, and then we had the other breakout. And then it pulled back to that support level that I had. And I ain't touched any of these trend lines today. These are off my existing trend line, so I added nothing. So what I'm going to add now is going to be a new resistance level. I'm going to add a couple of them. I'm thinking right around here, right around 709. And then we got a little bit of mumble jumble up around in here. And I'm seeing probably right around 711. So we're going to try to break the 709 area and expect this thing to pull back to support. And I'm thinking that support's going to be right around 693. If that don't hold, we'll come back to this previous day resistance level, which I call a low support at 683. This is ACB. Keep it on watch. It's bullish, just like all the other. And today, when the market was down red, this was about the only sector that was really running good today. And then a couple others started following in later in the path. So the wheat sector is still bullish in my eyes, and I think it's going to be for a couple of years. You're going to see a lot of consolidation. You're going to see a lot of merging. You're going to see a lot, and we talked about this a couple of videos back about we're going to see a lot more grow rooms to meet the capacity that they need for this sector to keep running like it is, especially like the CBD oil. And so the next one we're going to talk about is REFR.
Yeah, so I just want to mention, this company is called Research Frontiers, and this company is into smart glass. And you know what they do? So if you have, you're in an aircraft, you're on a yacht, you're on a train, maybe your office, maybe your car. This actually lets you control the lighting and shading of the glass, either manually or automatically. And you know what's funny? I mean, I remember when I went to Israel not too long ago, they used to have it that your window was open, and then to make it dark, you'd have to pull down that shade. And I noticed on my flight, all of a sudden the windows were tinted, it was dark, but the window was technically, the shade was not even on. The window was open, like the shade was open. And I was like, that's interesting. So you know what? I guarantee they probably use reefer technology. So this is really good. It It gives you people that travel. It gives a good passenger experience of viewing things at dawn hours or nighttime, and this is really interesting. So I think it's a good product. A smart glass. They have a really cool website too. If you check it out, called smartglass.com. I think Jim's showing it to you guys right there.
Research Frontiers, yes.
That's right. And I will say that this chart is beautiful. We were in this stock, just so you know. We did share this back then as a swing trade, back in the $1.93 zone. And even again at the 220, because the target was around 220, 223, and we broke that. And I still like the chart for a continuation, although it had a bit of a pullback. The stock to me is still bullish. I had a new 52-week closing high last week, and I think it's doing the same thing again today. So, Jim, I'm going to let you talk about the beautiful chart that I'm seeing.
Yep, 3-year breakout here. So we closed up here at 288 after market and looked like we had a $3 high here, and we hit my resistance of 299, and my next one was at 311. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up the daily. First I'll pull up the 20-day, just get a nice little glance at the 20-day here. That was the 3-month. Let me pull up 3-year. So yeah, this thing had a 3-year high of 503. So we're at about I'd say almost a pivot point in between that 503 and that low, and we had a low support on this thing at 66, 60
Wow.
cents. I mean,
Holy.
that would have been,
was that, Jim?
that was back on 6/25/18.
Okay, so back in June.
Yeah. So it had a low of 60 cents and then bounced up pretty good and pulled back to that 100 on the 3-year. And then now it's bounced up past the 200. So I'm going to pull up the 1 year, get another, just to look at the moving averages. and we have that 200, that 100, and we broke way past that. Now the 50 is starting to crawl on up, and I'm in this new resistance level, which I showed you that 3-year chart where I got these resistance lines at. So we broke past. I mean, for the last couple of days, we've had a real nice breakout. This last today was really nice. I'm going to pull up the daily 1 minute. So we had a low here of 29, 229, and it ran all the way up to $3. So that's about a 70-cent bounce. And then we pulled back to, and these are the 3 moving averages I use on a breakout stock because it's more relaxed. And anytime it touches it, I can more or less get in on a play if I'm scalping. You see we touched it a couple times here, had a bounce there. Took this, and I could have ran it all the way up until it come back, started consolidating here and hit that 50 again. Then we had to, right before close, we had that $3 breakout up to $3. Then it pulled back and it hit that 100, and then here we are back at 3 again. So here we are looking at a double top on REFR, and I like this company a lot. This is new innovation, and this is really going to be something. I could see a lot of neat stuff being built out of this, even you imagine in the housing department, even when they're building. Who knows, man? It just it's triple top. I'm in a double top here at $3. I'm excited about it. So if it pulls back any, let's see if it hits any of these 3 moving averages. I got a low support right around 268, 284, and then if we might just stay above that 3, and I'll just have to keep drawing new resistance lines off that 3-year chart. And this is REFR. Sorry about getting tongue-tied there. I'm just very excited about this company. I'm not trying to influence you into buying it. I always say try to buy it on a pullback if you want to get in at support. Don't try to chase them. But Vegas is right. We did break out on a 52-week high here. And the next one we're going to talk about is TEUM. And I'm going to hand it right over to Miss Vegas.
Okay, thank you, Jim. So, TEUM, you guys heard me talk about one of the themes for 2019 is telecommunications. And, TEUM is Peridium, and they basically connect people all around the world with their cloud platform. Guess what? For communications, okay? And this company has located in New York, and they have a cloud-based software platform, and they provide, like I said, global mobile connectivity. And I have to say, I am really pleased with this chart. This stock to me came up earlier today. I just for some reason looked at the chart a little closer, and I was really impressed with the weekly chart. And I said, you know what, this looks good for a swing trade. And I alerted that. And, a lot of people can't handle day trade. It's too much rushing. Or they have a full-time job. So this was great. We shared this idea in the room, and quite happy so far with how it is working out. And Jim, I would like you to talk about that because I thought it was overbought. It also had a pocket pivot as well on Friday's chart. And we are swinging this here from around 253.
Yep. Well, yesterday
from 234. So keep a watch on it if you're not in it, but let Jim talk about that one.
look at this beautiful run past 3 months from 145 all the way up to 255 here. And yesterday was a pretty good little sign with this doji, this white doji right here is going to break out. That there is a good sign that you're going to get you a little breakout play the next day. And by gosh, look what happened. It had a resistance there at 233 that I had drawn up. It could be a little bit higher, but there was probably a reason why I got that there, and I'll pull up the year's chart and see why. But that breakout point was right around 334, so that's just a penny. Because you could see it right here where it hit again on this candle right here, then pulled back and had that little red doji right here, and it bounced on up past 3 days. So I'm going to pull up the year's chart, just have a little glance. See, we've had some pretty good highs, ups and downs on this little stock at support level, which is right around here, right around 233. That's exactly why I put it there, because I call that more or less a good, solid pivot point area. It could be a support. If you were up here in this area, it would be a low support. But if you look at the years chart, I would call that area a pivot point. And today we broke out of that pivot point. And we got a lot more range to go on this stock. I see a couple little resistances I'm going to add to it right now at 247. I'm looking all the way across the chart. And I've done this for a while, so I get kind of accustomed to finding these things. And we got that 251, so that ain't much. We'll see if we can take it a little bit higher here. Right there. That's a good spot. At 261. And we could bring it up to about 268. And then your next 268. Let me get that in here. Change it to about 270. So I like that. And then I'm going to bring it up one more shot to 280. And then I'll add on more tomorrow. So if I want to play the pullback on it, I'd probably play it back to this 200 SMA and low support, maybe right around the 224 area. But I'd no lower than that. And you got that 233, which is a good solid little spot right here too for a support. So let me pull up the 20-day and look at it one more time. Yeah, I'm looking at a support level right around 233. And maybe this 241 area. So second support right around 234, 233. And if that don't hold, this 228 area for a bounce up. But this looks pretty good. I mean, we're breaking on up. This has been a real strong, like she said, weekly chart. You can tell by looking at the 3 month how that just, that's just beautiful. And then we had a little consolidated period right in here. Then we had that other breakout. So a lot of times when you see a big breakout like this, and it did pull back to that 248 after the 255, you might see a little pullback. And I gave you that range a little bit ago, no lower than around 228 to 233. And this is TEUM. And these stocks that we've mentioned all day today are momentum plays. So you do expect to pull back and for them to bounce back up. And then this one here, Vegas really hit it on the button. Hit it on the button. And this has got to do with food.
Yeah, this is our little favorite little. I mean, you guys know. I mean, I really like taking a nice liking to OTC stocks, and thankful to to Patrick, and Jen used to trade OTC a lot.
Yep.
And some people sometimes are a little bit turned off or sketchy about OTC. They think, oh, everything there is no good. That is not true.
Nope.
Sometimes companies have to start somewhere, and they start on the OTC land, and then they apply for an uplisting. So they have to start somewhere sometimes, and OTC sometimes is the platform. So that doesn't mean that it's a bad company. You're bad. You're going to OTC. That's not how it works. So we have to stop thinking like that. So anyhow, SHMP. I have to say, I am really liking this company. So you know what's funny? I mean, we had this stock, believe it or not, back in December. We had this back around 0.015. Can you believe this? Very, very cheap. And now the stock's at 0.07. And this actual company here, SHMP, and I don't know what's triggering the action, because it's had action last week and even today. But I mean, the news on this a couple weeks ago, this company, SHMP, they're into aqua technology. So technology that's with water. And they're in Dallas, Texas, and near San Antonio. And they actually provide a system, a commercial system where fish farmers really can grow shrimp in an enclosed saltwater system using technology that they've patented that can produce fresh, never frozen, grown shrimp without using any chemicals or antibiotics. And they're looking to obviously use this patent. It's basically being distributed worldwide, not just for shrimps, though, also for lobster, for clams, for oysters, for salmon. So they did announce a couple weeks ago that they finally entered the next phase of development with their U.S. patent technology. by extending the capability to additional saltwater species. So initially it was just for shrimp, but now they're going to be able to market this for all kinds of fish. So that is what the news was a couple weeks ago. So I think this is really interesting company. And what a run we had on this one today. We were at 0.53, and what a on chat all day, and I kept saying, Jim, what's the next support? What's the next resistance? And he would guide me, and with his guidance, we're able to hold longer. And people with smaller accounts were thrilled because they're able to buy these OTC opportunities, and did very well today. So congratulations to all the shrimp traders. And I actually kept some overnight. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, if there'll be a continuation. But my God, this price back in December was a bargain. So it's unfortunate, don't have it from, but that's just got to move on to a new trade. And so, Jim, what are your thoughts?
Well, first thing I seen when I was looking at the website, Miss Vegas, is that shrimp is by far the single most consumed seafood in the world.
Well, definitely love it.
That could be
As long as it's deveined.
that could be a huge catalyst right there alone. And I'm going to pull up the year's chart on. I'm going to show you how I drew some of these resistance lines. And we had a high up here for the year around 13.8, with a good solid resistance right around probably 13 cents. So we still got a lot more room for this to travel up. We got a lot more room for this to travel up. And I was drawing these blue trend lines off the previous, every chart tells a story. And we never want to erase history, because history can bring us today, and sometimes history repeats itself. And there's a lot of things about trading stocks that's true about life, from gravity to history to mathematics. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff here. So I'm going to pull up the 20-day chart. And I'm going to look at it. We've had the breakout here down here from 127 all the way up today. The resistance high was a double top here even after hours. It did kind of pull back a little bit. 0769, you're going to expect that. You're going to expect that on penny stocks. They're going to, they have a tendency of going up and down, but it's still it held support there at that 7 cent level. And Vegas just made a beautiful call on this, and there was people in the room that are not very experienced traders that took this trade, and one of them said she had the best day of her life in the room today.
Yeah, she said it was her best trade for so far for 2019, her best trading ever.
Yeah,
and this is amazing. I love it. This is like life changing.
Yeah, and when the market's red, we're always green, or we try to be. And when we say that, we try to tell people to use patience and let us find the trades that are worthy for the day. And a lot of these that we mentioned today are just old trades that we traded for a while, that are highly have great momentum to them, great volume, and just beautiful scalper plays like ACB, TEUM, and then the shrimp. Look how long it's been running. I mean, it's ran pretty good here. So I'm going to tell you where I think the pullback's going to be on this, if any at all, because I still think we have a lot of room to run. And I'm just kind of looking at the previous highs that we had yesterday, and we had that double top here, and I don't think it's going to get down to this area, 473. I don't think we're going to see that. But we might see it run into the 50 SMA. And we're going to pull that up on a daily 1 minute just to see where that is real fast. So these are the three moving averages I'm going to be using tomorrow. That's going to be the 50, the 100, and the 200. And I'm going to see if they want to bounce off this 50 or if they're going to bounce off this 100 right here. And this is on a daily 1 minute chart. Jot that down, because a lot of people won't tell you that in these videos in a way. So we had a double top here after hours, right around 769, 7767, Let's see if we can get this to break out more, get it up there at about 10 cents into that 13 here later on down the line. And with that new technology, this could really bring this stock a lot higher than that. And I'm going to tell you that right now. This is running off news that's 2 weeks old. So keep that in mind also. And this is just great technology. And thank you, Vegas, for alerting us to the room and telling everybody about it and keeping them motivated about it, because you ain't been wrong. Not on this
No,
one.
so far.
Not
So
on
far,
any
we're
of them.
liking.
Yep.
Oh, we've been really happy with this one and Zone, another OTC. So very happy. Everybody's happy. And you know what? I want to make 2019 a green one for everybody. So if you are listening, following, subscribing, come visit our chat. If you don't have time, then watch these videos. We give a lot of good swing ideas. And I'm going to follow up on the ones we talked about yesterday. I'll be monitoring them all week and to see the progress on them. Also, just one comment. The U.S. Justice Department did mention they have 13 count indictment against China's Huawei Technologies company against 2 subsidiaries and its CFO, Meng Wanzhou. So that does not look good for potential impact to China stocks. So keep those on watch tomorrow for a pullback.
Yep. And I just want to say, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you ring that bell to get our future updates. And we're going to do one of these YouTube videos live during the market hours. So keep up with that. It's not going to be, I mean, we're going to do it live and then we'll record it and pass it on to YouTube. But we just want to let you know about that so you can see us, what we're looking at during the trading hours in the day. And this is the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date is January the 22nd, 2019. And
22nd? No, Jim, we're
28th. I can't get it right if I.
First he gets the month wrong, now he gets the day wrong.
And what
Jim
year
needs
are
some
we
sleep,
in?
guys.
What year?
You need to get some sleep. 2019.
2009.
19. He's just joking, guys.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. Well, you have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. And that's all for My Love Stocks. Have a good night.